Now right here, this is gonna happen to you. You're gonna get on him and you're gonna go, I'm ready, let's go, and he's not gonna go. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna give him grace and the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, I realize you've been out of school for a year, so you're a little rusty. I'm gonna tell you again and again, and I'll just make it clearer to you. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna shift my weight forward a little, squeeze him a little bit, and he's like, I'm not interested. And then I might go, come on, remember? He's like, yes, I remember. So you're gonna have a dialogue with your feet. You're gonna be saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. There's times when you're gonna use more the right leg if you wanna get the intent. So the basics, just the basics of what I do with my legs are, I've got a forward, I've got a neutral, and then I've got a back position. And it just kind of depends on the momentum and all the different deals, but I'm gonna say with you today, 1, 2, or 3. And just think 1 is a little bit forward of right underneath your hip, and it's kind of up by the latigo. It's not in front of the latigo. You just kind of go up, and you may not feel the latigo at this time, but it's kind of a little bit forward. 1 will just be a little bit forward, and my influence is either to support the front end or physically move the front end. 2, for me, is a real balanced position. It's the same position you're standing in right now, but with a little bit more knee bend. 2 is just kind of where I ride 80% of the time. I'm just kind of sitting in the middle of the horse. My ankles are pretty close to underneath my center of balance, which is pretty close to underneath my shoulders. And if my posture was better, it would be underneath my ears too. But all those years of riding colts, we tend to round out a little bit, So every time I can remember, I'll lift my sternum, roll my shoulders, and kind of just drop my center of gravity down in there. I like to be in a real relaxed position. So that's 2. And number 3 is ever so slightly behind 2. And what it allows me to do is help my horses to discern what part of their body I want to move. So if I want to move his front end that way, he's going to be a little rusty about it. But if I want to move his front end this way, I'm going to tip his nose, and then I'm going to give him a little bit of energy with 1. And all I want to do is see him shift his weight that way with the front end. And there, that's 1. 2 is what I would use as if I wanted to walk out somewhere. And I'll probably use my 2s together in this case because I want to go straight forward. If I want to kind of go to the right, I might use a little bit of right 2 to kind of push this right hind leg underneath him. If I want to go to the left, I might use a little bit of left 2. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to use my left leg in 1 to kind of put him back over here. Give him a chance to think about it. So there's left 1, and I say thank you. And now I'm going to go both legs position 2 and lift my sternum, both legs position 2. Hey, what do we get? We get forward. Now I'm going to go right leg 3. But since I know if this was a ship, what is it? Bow, stern, right? So if my bow goes that way, if I've got a tugboat up here tipping the bow this way, it's physically a little bit more easier for the stern of the boat to go that way. So that's a good time for me to position the head here. I touch 2 and then I slide back to 3, and then I'll help him with 3, and now I'm expecting the hind end to move over a little, and I say thank you. See how simple that was? This whole range of motion that I'm using my legs in probably there's not a whole foot for the whole deal. Matter of fact, the better my riding, the more I'll condense it down to 6 inches. But like I say, he's been out of school for a year, and so he needs a little bit of help. So I'm going to start with left leg 1, which should push the front of the horse over here, but I need to get his nose first because that helps him, right? So I'm going to say a little bit of nose, left leg 1, and I'm going to wait. And it doesn't have to be perfect. See, he's just got to understand my intent, and I'll say that's good enough. Now I'm going to skip both legs too, because then I'm going to like ride forward, and then we're not going to be able to see 3 clearly. Now I'm going to go, there's left leg 1. That's to move the front of the horse. Left leg, right leg 2. Thank you. Left leg 2 and right leg 2 is to send my horse forward. Now if I want to move the hind end over here, which you are going to want to do from time to time, first you're going to prepare the nose. And if you just physically, if you think about nailing a 2x4 to the ground in the middle of the board, if you push the front there, the back goes the other way. So I'm balanced on him in the middle of the horse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip his nose to the left. I'm going to tip his nose to the left. Hello. Okay, so there, he's rusty, so he didn't listen to me. He's actually starved, that's rusty. Now I've got his nose tip to the left, so there's 1, 2, 3. Then if I need to, I can turn my toe out a little bit, and he says, oh, you want to do the old move the hip thing. And I say, yes sir, I do. And matter of fact, I'll pay you as soon as you do it. And see what he did is he went, so even though it was a simple thing to you and I, since he's had such a long break, it was a little bit stressful for him, but he understood it. So, in recap, both legs number 2, forward. Both legs off and drop your heels towards the earth means you want to slow down and go to the earth. But notice my shoulders go from I'll actually drop my weight as deep as I can in the saddle, and a lot of times with him, that's all you need to do to stop.